Super easy, unbelievably delicious. Look at it, look at it. No need cheesy prosciutto roll bread. Do you see it? Do you see all that cheese? Look at that beautiful crumb on the bread. Oh, it looks spectacular. And it's so good! So good! For a full copy of today's recipe, check us out on Facebook at Poppy's Cucina, or right here on YouTube under the community tab. You'll find the recipe there. Let's get started. So the first step is you're going to take 1.5 cups of water, dissolve 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, and heat it up between 110 and 120 degrees. Perfect. All right, to this we're going to add 1 packet of active dry yeast, or if you have loose yeast, it's 2¼ teaspoons. I'm going to add that right in. Right, give it a stir, and then we're going to let this sit for about 5-10 minutes, maybe up to 15, to allow the yeast to bloom. See, it'll have a nice big head on it. It's going to smell like beer. Beer. And while you're waiting for your yeast to bloom, in your large bowl, you're going to add 3½ cups of bread flour. If you don't have bread flour, just use regular. That's okay. Along with 2 teaspoons of salt. Now you're going to just mix this all together till the salt is evenly distributed into the flour. Easy so far, right? Nice. And once your yeast is proofed, see it has that nice big head on it, you're going to pour that right on top of the flour, along with 1/4 cup of a good extra virgin olive oil. All right, now we're going to mix this all together until there's no more loose flour, just with a fork. Just like that. Now we're going to cover this tightly with some plastic wrap and then put it in a warm spot to proof for 1 hour. That's it, just 1 hour. All right, so our bread has been proofing for an hour. Let's see how it looks. Look, it got huge, like 3 times the size that it was. So nice. That beautiful dough. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to scrape this onto a lightly floured surface. It's going to be a little sticky. It's okay. Just like that. Make sure you get all that beautiful dough. It's going to be delicious, delicious bread. All the dough. So now, we're not going to knead this, but we're going to fold it in on itself just a few times till we have a nice, beautiful, smooth dough. Only needs a couple turns. See? Look, it's already nice and smooth. See? Alright, so now we're going to get this into, at least try to, about a 6 by 12 rectangle. Try not to beat up the dough too much. Okay. Alright. Just like that. Nice. So now we're going to add 1½ cups of shredded provolone. Use any kind of cheese you want. I just love provolone, especially with prosciutto. We're going to press the cheese in a little bit. That all in there. You can add more too if you want. Probably be easier if I had sliced. Oh well. Just like that. This bread is still proofing. It's going out of control. And now we're going to add our sliced prosciutto. The trick I like to do with prosciutto is I'll throw it in the freezer first for about ½ hour to an hour. And it makes it much easier to take off these little pieces of wax paper. We're just going to line up the prosciutto at 4 ounces right along the bowl of bread on top of the cheese. You're going to want to overlap it because you have 4 ounces and that's kind of usually comes out to about 8 slices. Right, so we're going to overlap it a little bit. Now we're going to get the rest of the prosciutto on. Just like that. And now we are going to roll the bread as tightly as we can. Just like that. There we go. There we go. Get a little pull if you need to. All right. And that's it. Doesn't that look beautiful? I'm going to tuck the edges in just to seal it up. All right, look at this spread. Gosh, it's going to be huge. I can't wait. All right, so now we're going to put this back in the bowl, and we're going to allow this to proof for another 30 minutes. So now while we're letting this proof, we're going to preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we are going to, once it hits temperature, we're going to preheat our Dutch oven in there for at least 15 minutes. All right. If it's a little sticky, add a little bit more flour, but I don't think you need to. All right. So now back into the bowl it's going to go and cover it tightly. All right, so it's now 30 minutes later. You see how much bigger this got again. Our Dutch oven has been preheating for 15 minutes, so we're going to carefully remove the lid. You see I put the bowl on top of a sheet of parchment paper. Now we're going to carefully lower this inside. Let's move this over a little bit. We're going to make an incision right down the middle. Like that, make it nice and creative. And then we're going to drizzle a little olive oil on top. Or spray. Don't judge. Alright, now we're going to carefully put the lid back on. And then into the preheated 425 degree oven it's going to go for 30 minutes. Make sure you set that timer. Alright, we'll see this in 30 minutes. Alright, so this has been in the oven for 30 minutes. I haven't looked at it yet. Time for the big reveal. Take off the lid and... Oh, what? Oh my gosh. Look at it. Look at it. This looks spectacular. Although that kind of looks like a brain. Not going to lie, but it's going to taste so good. Alright, so it has a nice golden brown color to it, but we want to get a little bit more, color to it. So back in the oven, it's going to go uncovered this time for probably only about another 5-6 minutes. If you want this super dark, put it in longer. But oh my, yes. And 5 minutes later, it's all ready. Look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. We need the cheese, got a little golden brown in there too. So now we need to carefully remove this from this super hot pan. Oh my God, the bread is so light. Because if you don't, the bottom of the crust is actually going to get burned. So we don't want that to happen. Right, make sure you're using pot holder when you're touching that. All right, because if it were to stay in there, the bottom would get very, very dark. And see, we have a beautiful crust there. All right, so we're going to allow this to cool for at least 15 minutes before we give this a try. We want to taste this nice and hot. Yum. Bon appetit. Beautiful crispy crust. The bread is so moist. Nice chew. They get all that prosciutto and the cheese. Oh! This is absolutely divine. Divine! I've said it before, you can't buy bread this good. You can't. You can't. It took like 3 hours. Spectacular. So if you try this recipe, let us know. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Poppy's Cucina. Thanks!
Espresso. What are you still doing here? What? You want a cocktail? Why just say so? Let's do this! Yeah! Alright, so for today's absolute ultimate espresso martini, we're going to start with 2 ounces of chilled espresso, 1 ounce of Frangelico, 1 ounce of Kahlua, 1 ounce of vanilla vodka, about 1 ounce of rum. There's not enough booze in this, folks. 1 ounce of Irish cream liqueur. And then we're going to do a splash of simple syrup. We need some non-alcohol in there, right? All right, so we're going to give it a good shaky. And we pour. Looks like a good coffee cocktail. Let's see how it tastes. Yum. Salud. Considering the amount of alcohol in this cocktail right here, it's surprisingly smooth. There's that little vodka burn, but oh, it tastes like you're drinking a spiked cappuccino. Oh, this is just fabulous. Ah, oh, and it kind of even tastes like a tiramisu. Oh, this is just amazing. Love it. All right, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Take care.